So very recently, I said that the map design in Battlefield 6 was leagues ahead of Battlefield 2042 and a bunch of the Battlefield maps from the last decade. I probably should have held off on saying that until I'd played Empire State, because it's kind of a mess, man. It's not good. But first, I want to talk about the things that I like about Empire State, because the setting of this map is really cool. I love anything set in New York, and I love an urban map, and there's some really interesting destruction set pieces, like being able to bring down the bridge over the central objective on the map. The details are also top-notch, as is expected from Battlefield 6 in general, and it is genuinely really impressive looking, and that is honestly about all the good that I have to say about Empire State. It looks nice, and it seems really cool in concept. Now, I want you to keep in mind that I am mostly and primarily an infantry player. Empire State is an infantry map in an urban setting with interesting verticality and without the traditional 3-lane design that first-person shooters typically rely on for their map design. Now, for those of you that don't know what that is, I want you to think about Dust 2 from Counter-Strike, or the majority of maps from Call of Duty. It's a design where there are basically 3 main paths across the map, with room for the occasional crossover from one to the other. Siege of Cairo is almost a 3-lane map, but not quite, and I would say that Iberian Offensive is probably a lot closer to a 3-lane map, at least out of the ones that we've played so far. Empire State is, from a map layout point of view, just a mess. There is too much going on at any one time, with too many angles to reasonably cover any one objective. There are too many corners for a sniper shotgun or just an M4A1 to be sitting around. It feels like there's no obvious front line to be fighting on, like you might see in Shipment or Nuketown from Call of Duty, and there's almost always going to be someone in front of you. There's almost always going to be someone behind you. There is almost always going to be someone upstairs and to the left of you, and everyone is running around constantly with no idea where to go, what to do, or what's going on, because the map doesn't lead you anywhere with its design. It just exists. It's a big circle, and everyone's running around like headless chickens. And it being so small kind of makes the problems worse and leads to a game where you just have no time to breathe because you're almost always spawning in the middle of or around the corner from a major fight or being one-tapped by the shotgun. As much as I don't personally enjoy it, Liberation Peak at least has clear paths forward from both spawns, either leading down towards Objective D or up the hill towards Objective C. Siege of Cairo has 2 main paths that go around the sides of the map for vehicles, with the main road that cuts across the middle for Objective C, and the fighting is almost always within those roads and around that objective. As I said earlier, Iberian Offensive is probably the most typical 3-lane map in the game so far, as you essentially have 2 roads on either side with a path through the middle once again, and there are points to cross over and cut through buildings. But just stick with me here. That's probably the most traditional. It's not quite a 3-lane map, but it is definitely the closest that we've played. Empire State, on the other hand, has basically none of that. The NATO spawn is huge and is super close to Objective A, meaning Pax Armada might as well not bother trying to take that objective, at least in Conquest. There are far too many routes to take through the map with far too many points to cross over, and that is exactly why the map is a mess and a nightmare to play, and why you have those people constantly in front, behind, and beside you, because they're just as f***ing lost as you are. Now, obviously, with time, we're all gonna learn the routes around this map, but to be honest with you, I don't want to. After just a handful of games on Empire State, it is instantly going into my skip this at all costs pile of maps. I'm not interested in learning it. It's not for me, and that's a shame because I like playing infantry, and this is an infantry-focused map. Now, I've been reading a lot about how people keep calling this a Call of Duty map, but to be honest with you, I don't even see it that way, if I'm completely honest. Obviously, Call of Duty has its own brand of chaos, and some of its most popular maps, again, Shipment and Nuketown, are absolutely tiny, but they're not messy, and that is the difference. A tiny map does not equal a bad map if the map is designed well or just kept simple, and that's the case with Shipment. It's tiny and simple. While Empire State doesn't really feel like a Battlefield map to me, it also doesn't really feel like a Call of Duty map either. It just feels like a poorly designed map, and that's really unfortunate. With these open beta weekends, there was a lot of hope that we would see some of the larger maps that will be in Battlefield 6. So that's yet another disappointment that's going to be tied to Empire State right now because, well, it's the f***ing opposite of larger. Now, personally and importantly, I really don't mind smaller maps. I play a lot of Domination because I almost prefer them sometimes. And as I've said, I'm not a huge vehicle guy. Hell, some of the more popular Battlefield maps in the past have been smaller too. Battlefield 3 even had a DLC that was nothing but close quarters maps, and from what I understand, people really enjoyed that DLC. You can absolutely have smaller scale and still feel like Battlefield if there's good pacing and a good flow to a map, which is yet again another reason that Empire State to me doesn't feel like a Battlefield map. It's not a Call of Duty map, it's just not a great Battlefield map. Of course, ultimately what feels like a Battlefield map to me might be very different from what feels like a Battlefield map to you. For me, I think of maps like Operation Metro, Caspian Border, and even Backstab from Battlefield 2 Modern Combat. I mean, hell, Battlefield Hardline had a great, dense urban map with Downtown. The franchise has done ultra-urban maps before and made it work, and still felt like Battlefield. This just isn't it, and that's a shame because I had such high hopes for this second open beta weekend. Now, that's not to say that it's all bad. If anything, I'd say I'm kind of happier in a weird way because I can now use the custom search function to not load into matches on both Liberation Peak, unless I want to, and Empire State. That, however, isn't something that makes me happy. Not enjoying 2 out of the 4 available maps has me kind of worried about what else is coming with Battlefield 6. I still love the gunplay, the shotgun is still hilariously overpowered, and I've recently fallen in love with the M4A1 again. And I know that there is talk and screenshots, or at least art, of some of the larger maps that will be in the game at launch, but I mean, one of those is a remake. It's Operation Firestorm from Battlefield 3, so I'm a little bit concerned about what the rest of the original Battlefield 6 maps are going to look like and what they're going to play like. Anyway, I don't want to spend too long on this topic. I don't want to doom spiral. I don't want to just feed drama and negativity. So all I'm going to say is I'm definitely disappointed, but Siege of Cairo and Iberian Offensive are still pretty damn good, and I still enjoy the gunplay available in the game. I am very curious to see what, if anything, Battlefield Studios will say about the reception to this map, especially since it kind of seems to be the poster child of the game. It's the setting that's shown off in a lot of the promotional material. It's on the loading screen in the beta as well, so I don't know if it's good that like the map in the game is one people aren't happy about, but I don't imagine we're going to hear much until after this weekend is done and all of the data is collected and processed. That's if we hear anything at all. They might just double down. That is also an option. So I guess let me know what you think of Empire State in the comments below. Do you love it? Do you like it? Do you hate it? While you're down there, make sure you like the video if you enjoyed it, not the map, the video, and subscribe if you're new around here. Either way, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.